Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Super League Live. Looking forward to talking it up with my man Ard, as tonight we will be discussing who made it, the outlook for the top 16 players in D1, and a lot of other stuff in this live recording. Looking forward to seeing what people will say. We'll also have predictions tomorrow, and we'll recap the guys that missed out and what to look forward to as for the 2026 season. Art, we'll start with you, buddy. Your thoughts on recapping the field, man. It's been a long season, man. There's no doubt. Your thoughts on that?
Well, we finally made to the point where we have finally now announced the 16 players. And now the fun begins. And we get to start it here by looking at the field once again.
All right, well, let's get to it. On the screen is going to be Vapor. We all know what he can do. Regular season champion, 3-time medal/trophyist, if you want to call it that. One of the OGs of the league. What a year. What's your outlook on Vapor, man? He's going to be sitting on the bye for a little bit. No experience in Super League. What do you think his outlook's going to be?
Well, here, I'm going to start off by this. Vapor's going to have one of the longest buys because with double buys, you got to be careful here because not everyone's going to do well. I think last year in Super League, it wasn't that great for the people that got double buys than people that had to go through the whole group stage and maybe had the single buy. But here's the thing. I think for Vapor, he's going to have that time to prepare. And also, if he can do what he did in the last two tournaments and not do what happened in the first three, he could be a threat for Super League.
Well, it's good, Taco. Appreciate you joining. Well, here's what I'll say about Vapor. On paper, he's the favorite in terms of 2025. He's been the best player, heads and shoulders above. He has 16 when you double it up. The 6 more than the next person that's in the field, which is Andy. He's the number one favorite in terms of 2025. The only thing that we're going to have to worry about here is, did that momentum train just get stopped off a bye? Okay, that's an honest question. We got to ask that. Sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Next thing you got to think about, he has no experience in Super League. Does that matter this year? Personally, I think it will. I think it is going to matter because you can't just say you go into this new environment and you're starting off with, boom, best of 11. Because the quarterfinals and semis, in a real Elite 8, it's best of 9, 2 power play. Now we're talking quarterfinals, semis, best of 11. You got to get right into that mindset in the best of 13 if you get there. It's a little longer games. And Vapor, he did play that best of 13 finale, so he's got the experience during the reg season. But playoff time is different. You don't win. In the reg season, you can win games playing offense and a little defense. In the championship, it probably would be, as Caesar joins us, feel free to type, or you can just talk about it if you want to come in. In the championship, you got to know how to play defense. You do. And I think that's going to be the thing. If Vapor's been on a steady course all season, if he can control the early games like he's been doing, games 1 through 5 especially, he's got to be the favorite, for sure. But the moment he gets into this sort of adversity, when you haven't been in adversity all season, how's he going to react? The rust, we'll see. We'll see what about the rust factor. I know how it comes in, but he's a guy that practices a lot. I'm interested to see what he'll do because we saw last year, yes, technically Ashley did the double, but there was a lot of asterisks with that. Season was kind of a mess at the end of the year. We had to wait for a lot of things. And
yeah.
This year, there's no D2 champion coming over. There's a lot more media. There's a lot more investment into what we're doing. I'm interested to see what he'll do. I'm not going to say much on a prediction for the guys that are in double bye and single bye. We'll have predictions for week 1 tomorrow and the guys in group stage. He's on the 4 line. He's scheduled to play either a 4 if he can get to the Final Four, a 4 seed, obviously, which would be Mac. But an 8 line, hard to know because it gets reshuffled. So whoever has the most points would get the nod. So Group A winner or Group B winner, whoever has the most, would be 7. it would be go to second place with the most points in GD. Who knows? If we were to keep it on level, he would get a rematch with Toaster Guy, who he lost to earlier in the season. Hard to say. I think he's on a favorable line against Mac, to be honest, because we don't know what Mac's going to be able to do in a wild card scenario. However, I can't rule out, when we get to Mac, if he's figured out composure. So I'm not going to make a prediction on these guys by island single buy, but I will say he's got a higher ceiling. What's your thoughts on the prediction if you have one for Vapor without spoiling anything? Go ahead.
Well, I think right now he has a good moment. If he can, again, momentum-wise, if he can keep that up, he can make that go really well into the matchup later on in the tournament. But it's going to be determining on what's going to happen there. Not going to really throw out anything possibly happening.
Okay. Brad, if you want to type in anything, go ahead about Vapor. But his ceiling definitely is peaked. There's no doubt. You have 16 wins on a season. You want to win the big one. And I think he's going to go into this mindset, guns a-blazing, nothing to lose, everything to gain. Everything to lose, everything to gain. When you're the number one player entering any type of postseason or any type of special tournament towards the end of the year, you're the 2025 favorite. At the end of the day, you got to go into that thing saying, I'm the season favorite, and if I don't win it, what could have been, right? You won the last three things in a row. A trophy, and a gold medal. T4 through the regular season finale, including the regular season trophy. You've won everything. You got to get it done. That's the one thing about Vapor. He knows it too. He's got to get it done. So that's the one thing he'll have to. With the rest of us, 2 through 16, you're thinking this is opportunity. There's a big rabbit out there to chase. Can I defeat that rabbit? Which is this. We'll see what Brad says here. But I'm looking forward to what he can do. We've never had a player win more than 13 games. This will be the first chance we get at it. And it should be a fun one to look at. For sure. We'll see what Brad will type. And another thing, too, Art, you look at the Super League field with Vapor, too. Vapor's the he was beatable the first stream, but he will be a big, long way. Who knows, right? Another thing with Vapor, he's played Toaster. He's played some other guys that have been in the mix. Right? Costa's there. He lost to Toast. He beat Acosta. Gold was in the mix. He beat Gold. There are some Super League guys that they can get there that know his style, and anything's possible. So it'll be an interesting juxtaposition for Vapor. But I do agree thinking that he's going to be the favorite for 2025, and we'll see how it goes in there. Now, the next guy is interesting. G. Let's go to his resume. Had a good auto April, right? Really good season overall. Bounced back from 2023, really. He bounced back from 24 and really did a 23 type season where he went 8-5, went 8-4, basically the same type of season. 1 second, someone just texted me, no problem. The thing I have with G here, the question marks we're going to have with Gerard Art, honest to God, there's two of them. One, the long wait, of course, with any of these guys. But number two, I think you look at the people he played that he beat, right, and lost to. Yoshi's not in Super League. Sanford not in Super League. Tago not in Super League. Vapors in Super League. Lane, no Super League. Goldie, no Super League. Nam Rogers already in no Super League. So that leaves Lara, Monkey, and Gon. Now we know Lara and Monkey and Gon are in group stage. But the thing is, we know all of them ain't going to get out alive. So that leaves the question, is he an open target to the other people that could be making a potential point of G know his stop? I don't know. That's going to be the $1 million question because we know Lara and Gon are in the same group. So theoretically, even if they get out, he's scheduled to play the 7 line. But let's say he gets out of that, right? Then it'd be the 2-3. That would be me and him, would be interesting. The 7 line right now would be, like I said, Nick, but not confirmed. Same thing with 1-8. It's not confirmed. I'm not sure what to read into this because he had a good tournament run, but think about the wins he had. Aria, Rogers, Nam, were in Super League, and then Lara Monkey gone, and then he beat Goldie Lane, who didn't make it. I'm interested because a lot of the guys he lost to were nowhere close other than Vapor. How do you read G? Because his season is very intriguing to where I think he's got some leverage for sure with his play style. It's unique. It's very not practice heavy. He said that in the past. He doesn't come into these games playing a lot of practice or any type of, I'm going to play 100 games and rot my brain. No, he's going to be a guy that's going to try to win the mental game, the mentality game, and study tape, old school style. What's your thoughts on that? I think the fact that he doesn't have a lot of, extra miles in the tank will make it interesting compared to the guys that practice a lot. But he also has to run Division 2. So your thoughts on that as well?
Well, I'm going to just say this on G, and here's the thing. It's been shown on this thing with the whole reveal thing. He was in Super League 2 years ago, but only made it into the group stage. So he's going to go into uncomfortable waters, really. He's going into uncharted territory. And this is where it's going to really get into G's head here on what he can do. And here's the thing. He's got a lot of time to look at film and stuff to see what he can do as well. Especially with all the games that are happening. That's going to give him a lot of extra time just to check and see what he can do when it's time to play later on.
I got the wrong graphic up. What am I doing? Stage frame. Hold on. Is this it? No. Man, I hate rushing things. It's on me. Okay, there we go. Thank you, Short. Appreciate it. Once again, bozo on my end. Anyway, I'm just not sure what to think because with G, it's hit or miss, right? It really is hit or miss because he's got I think he's got the great resume for sure. There's not even a doubt. I think he's got a great resume in terms of playoff experience. He's a 2-time Super League player, but he hasn't been back there in 2 years. The last time he played a Super League game, we got to go back to November 23. Man, that's a long time. That's a hell of a time to really think about. As Cody Smart joins us, excuse me. That's a long time, man, and it's not easy just to turn up the wicks. I'm interested to see what he will do, but I think the fact that he does have playoff experience, personally, I always lean into that experience. There's nothing like that experience. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say he actually could make a run. But as I said, we'll see. A lot of experience on the hand. A lot of ups and downs. He's been to the peak, right? He's been to the top of the mountain. He's been to the bottom. He's never really been in the middle. He's been near top or bottom, right? So I'm interested to see how he will play against the top now that he's up in the upper echelon. He did really well in group stage in 23. I'll give him that. We can forget about myself, right? But he did beat some Stanford in some extensional circumstances. He had Aria on the ropes. That's what really killed him, Aria on the ropes. He couldn't take care of Aria, and he lost to Ypez, basically, or something like that. He tied Ypez.
Yeah.
And then he just lost to me at the end. Yeah, go ahead. With a tie.
Yeah, that's what thinking about back then, and again, it's been since November 2 years ago, and really that's just I think now for G to be in this sort of position 2 years later, and he's gone for the bottom depths back up to the top after then. It's gonna be an interesting way to see here what G does.
Yeah, he's gonna be all over the board. And look, at the end of the day, a lot of people are gonna be all over the board, man. A lot of people are gonna be all over the board. This isn't just one person going to be all over the board. This is interesting because now we have a master and a master, right? That master class is loaded. Same with the novice class. It's interesting. Now, the next person is myself. We're not going to get too deep into. I'll have Art talk about me more. But listen, we all know my story, right? 3-time Super Leaguer. I played a lot of Super League guys this year, Art. There's no doubt. Acosta, Lane, Acosta, Mack. Andy, for sure, my 3 big wins. We all know it. Played Gone, played Lara. A lot of my schedule was just heavy with Super Leaguers. And, I'm on this bye. Last year, kind of was just a whatever, right? I'd had a lot of things going on privately. A lot more clearer head this year. Seems to be a lot better. We don't got to wait crazy. We're not playing into Thanksgiving and holidays where you can get checked out for everybody. This is my home, right? If Vapor's number 1 on the list to get the job done, this is my second home. So I'm definitely going to be the number 2 guy. You got to think. Okay, this is KT's place. He pretty much has vacationed here and has done a lot in this country in Thailand. The pressure's on. There's no doubt. So I think out of everyone in the field, because Abiyan didn't make it, I know this place really damn well. I got to be seen as a favorite, but I won't speak too much about myself. I know what I can bring. It's time to make a move. What's your thoughts on the boss, real quick?
All right, I'll make this just really textbook story here. I am kind of a bit nervous here on you, man. Here's the reason why. Ever since March Madness back in T1, the only other time that you made a deep run was T2. After that, 3 straight round of 32 exits. The big key pressure here is, can you bring back that March run, bring back that March mentality when the time comes in 1 month? That's the problem I'm thinking here. Because if you could see by the people he beat, he did beat some good people, but will that help in the long run? And especially when people get back to play. This is where I always think of certain people, who's going to be good once you get either in single buy or double buy. These double buy people are a little bit more trickier, and this is a key example right here.
Yeah, and that's a fair assessment. At the end of the day, it's basically what I did last year, except I didn't have a tournament win, pretty much. It was the same exact run to the T. I think I pretty much had 3 round 32s. Now this year, like I said, a little different, right? At home, pretty much, second home. A lot more in the tank compared to last year where we were just checked out. It'll be a good time, but I'm scheduled to play Myth, which it could happen. You never know. We have seen those first round games around 12, so it could happen. Or whoever the 11 seed is, who knows what that will be. But scheduled to play Myth. We'll see how it goes if we get there. I'm excited for the prospect. Is Super League, man. It's time to show up, right? It's pull up or shut up, and I got to go in full blaze. That's it. I'm not going to say too much because I have some tricks they haven't seen yet, but like anybody else, they're going to show me their best stuff too. Going to be an interesting fight, to say the least. I can't wait for the grind. There's no doubt. All right, we'll go into the next real quick. He's been. No, I've never won a Super League knockout game. No, I've won a group stage game. Never won a Super League knockout game. So I gotta change that. But we'll go to the next person. Speaking of a guy that, what a year he's had. House money mentality. Stack Johnson. Stack has been stacking more than just dollars. He's been stacking wins. He's got Caesar. He's got me. He's played Gold. He's played Brad. He's played Myth. He's played BC. He's got a lot, similar to myself, a lot of guys he's played in Super League. But the thing is, we talked about this. 6 out of his 7 wins were in one tournament. I know he's a novice. I know he's on a double bye. I know he's a wild card. I think Mac's going to have the same. He's going back to T3. I think Mac and I are similar. I got to give him a T1. He's got to get back to that T3 house money. He's got to go out there and be a zillionaire kind of guy. Straight house money, straight cash, or he's going to fall into a trap. I think if he plays loose and less calculated in a way, he'll be more dangerous. When he starts playing a little more reserved or too aggressive, he can lose the plot. I think Stack's going to be so. We interviewed him. Great head on his shoulders. Great guy. I like where he's at in terms of mindset, but the key is going to be, can he go back to what he did in T3? And can he go back to that house money of, this is a gift, man. This is a dream. I'm in Super League. If he uses that as a gift, I think he could do something. He's scheduled to play Andy, which would be interesting. Thoughts on Stat Johnson here? This is definitely a wild card of the top four. There's no doubt.
He's, out of the double bye guys, he is the wild card. Out of those four, he is the wild card, and the only reason is, got to get back to that T3 mentality. Same thing as I said just with KT and the last person. Matt's got to get somewhere. Besides that T3 win, the highest he went was T4 when he got to the round of 16. That's the only thing. If he can get back to almost around there, but go farther than he can ever do, and have a different sort of strategy, he can pull off maybe the run of all runs.
No one expects Max, and that's why in Max's position, no one expects him to win Super League. That's the beauty of being an underdog in a sense. Everyone expects, Vapor's going to go out there. He's got to be the number one guy. He's going to win it all. Oh, okay, KT, man, this is his home, right? He's got to be there. Oh, surely a guy like Brad, man, he a legend. That's got to be it, right? This guy has nothing to lose. Nothing to lose. Nothing really to think about other than the fact that he already won a tournament. This is the perfect spot to be in if you're stacked. In terms of mentality, you want to have nothing to lose, everything to gain in a sense. If you win the dang thing, great. If not, what a year. You'll be remembered forever as a guy that won a tournament and came from nowhere. He still has a losing record in his career. What a story would be. It's probably the second best story behind Acosta's all year. I think the Acosta story is probably the best one because of the fact that the guy was ready to retire. Right? He pretty much said after T2, I'm probably done if I don't make a run T3. And he made a run himself. But this is definitely the second best story behind Acosta all year. I'm interested to see what he can do, Art. I really am. I think Stat Johnson has something to be said. And Brad said it right. Brad said about house money. I think the fact that he is in a knockout stage, he's got kids, right? We talked to him a lot in the interview. Good head on his shoulders. Guy you want to watch out for, no doubt. Now we go into the single bye groups, and it's interesting with Andy here, man, because, okay, good resume, right, for sure. Nick, myself, Vapor, all super leaguers, right? But then you look at the wins. Ed, Zach, Lamas, Carson, Camaro, Drip. Okay, split it with Nick. Tago and Nop. They've never played. They're not playing Super League this year, right? Only Nick and Gon are in there, and myself and Vapor. Ironically, he lost to Nick, split it with Nick, lost to myself and Vapor, and he beat Gon. So, really interesting character in my opinion, because Andy has a lot of ceiling versus, let's say, Mac on Stack Money. But Andy has more ceiling than the guys ahead. I'm interested to see, because he already made a finale, but his ceiling is a lot higher than a lot of people think. I think for him being on a single bye, not the worst thing in the world. It's going to be about just when he gets to that stage, because he's scheduled to play either Mac or if he can get their Mac, but he's going to be playing the worst guy. Right? He's going to be playing the worst guy out of group stage. When you're the 12th seed, you're the worst guy. You got the least that you snuck in. And we saw this with Brad last year. This is a dangerous spot to be in, because you think, oh, that last guy that gets in, surely you can't sleep on that last guy that gets in knockout or group stage. You can't. Is this an uncomfortable position you think, for Andy? Your thoughts on his outlook? Because this is not the best. Out of all the positions, this is a tough one, because we saw the history with Brad last year. It's not guaranteed you're just going to make that Elite Eight.
Yeah, here's the thing: you got to be really careful here, especially when you're facing people that are coming out of group stage. And even if it's like the sixth person out of all the guys that advance, you're not safe from what might happen in that group stage. Well, out of those group stages into the knockout bracket. That's where the difficult part comes in for someone like Andy. So luckily, Andy will have some time now to relax a bit, but he's gotta keep sure of watching those group stages. If you are not careful enough, you're gonna fall victim of what happened last season.
The 5 seeds ago, you get the worst group stage player event, but that is still 10. You get the 4 who hasn't played. Yeah, it's weird, right? We saw it with Brad last year. We saw it with Brad. It could be a trap game. That 5-12, that 6-11, trap game city. It is. It's true because you think, oh, I have everything under control, but then you realize those guys that were the worst guys in group stage, they're damn good too because they have momentum. They're coming in with heat. I'm interested to see how another novice player, another guy coming in with no resume of Super League. We'll see what he can do. Now for Myth, another guy. Here's another guy, rookie in Super League, veteran, been around the game. Now, some of the people, Cap not making it. He's played Gon, he's played Mac, he's played Gon. He's lost to Gon twice. That's interesting. Only Acosta is the other person to play someone twice and lose. That was Vapor. But he lost to Gon twice. Okay, but then who else is on Redman Mate? Well, here's the thing. Vapor. Then he has Toasty. And that's it. So just Vapor, Toasty, and Gon. And Mac. 4 players. Realistically, though, I would say with Myth, it ain't about seeding for him. It's can he get his style right? Can he force his opponent into a quick match? Because we saw it with Mac. We saw it with Gon. The longer the game drags out, the worse Myth's going to get. He's not a guy to play an hour. He doesn't want to play 40 minutes. He's got to get this within a 20-minute box. He needs someone that plays yin and yang quick. And the person that really did a good job, even though not made Super League, was Arya. Arya played quick, matched Myth for pace, and sure, Arya lost, but Myth, he had some trouble there. But the Arya playbook was open. And Gon, hard to say, because both the times that Gon and Myth played, the matches were short, yet they almost dragged on to where it was a breaking point for Myth. He almost needs to play games such as with Logan or Cap or whoever. Those are the kind of games he needs to play where it's a little bit more cleaner and a little bit more faster. That way he doesn't get into Plan BC. I'm interested to see his Plan BC game as he'll be on the last guy on Bi Island. Thoughts on Myth here, Mark?
That Myth's kind of in a difficult position here if you really think about it. And you just said he kind of wants to put basically the games into like 20-minute games, like 20-minute stuff. That's a problem here when you got some of the guys that are in group stage that if they can get out of the group stage and they face Myth, it could be a nightmare for Myth. So he's got to be really careful and just see what happens there with the group stage.
The one advantage he does have is if he can get those games in 20-minute boxes, look out. Because then he's going to have a strategical advantage when it's quick and lightning quick pace. So I think suffocating your opponent will be interesting. Yeah, you have to prepare for. That'll make up for him being raw against a group stage player. Yeah, that's a good comment. You can't just go in there thinking you're just going to raw dog it against me. It's not going to work. You got to go in there and really attack it. Right? Study the game tape, study the film, try to get him into a 30-minute plus game. The longer it goes, the more endurance it's going to help the opposing player. So that 11 seed, whoever that 11 seed is going to be. And that's the advantage for the 11 seed. They can study tape, and for Myth, he can also study that 11 seed, but he's going to have less time compared to the 6. That's the only thing with that for sure. Well, now we get to the group stage, and we started off with Nick. We know we won a tournament, but you think about this, Art. If we exclude Ashley, Monaco, Bo, Steven, right, more back markers not playing. Yepes missed. Jenna Seth didn't make it. He's only played. He lost to Peter. We know he split with Andy. We know he's got Toasty. He took care of that. Took care of him. Then he took care of Monkey. Took care of BC. He's in a very interesting group, I would say, because he doesn't have to play BC. Don't believe he's playing Monkey. So that's always good. Don't believe he's even playing Toasty either, if I'm not mistaken. Just to confirm. Yeah, no. Toasty, Monkey, BC are all in Group B. So he doesn't got to worry about any of those guys. He's in a competitive group. We know he's got Week 3 bye confirmed. It's probably one of the best buys to pick because you have 2 on, 2 off, right? Or no, 2 on, off, then 2 on. Probably the best buy to pick if you like to split it up. I got to look at him as the group stage in Group A as one of the 2 favorites. I think him and Brad deep down are the favorites of that group. Brad with the EXP. And Nick probably getting a little bit motivated after being left out of a bye. I like his ceiling. We know March Madness winners have been very hit or miss. We saw with Peter. You know, he won March and then just missed out at group stage in 23. I won March last year, and then I missed out in the Final Four. I missed out by a couple games. It made the Elite. I finished 5th. Yeah, I'm gonna say Nick's got a good ceiling. He'll be a little bit more ticked off about what happened tonight. I really do think so. I think he'll have a chip on his shoulder. What do you think, Art? I think he'll be definitely one of the favorites of this group for sure.
Yeah, I think so. But here's the thing: I think Nick is going to be someone to really pay attention on, especially if you look on how his last 2 tournaments went. Basically, the first half of the season, he did all right. But the last 2 tournaments was basically what might have hurt him enough to not be part of a single bye. But here's the thing. He's going into a group stage that does have some good competitors. And that could smell trouble for those people if they are not careful.
Yeah, I think the thing is with this, too, I think about this a lot. I just think with Nick, he knows what he's got to do. He's a dynamic player. He's got good control. It's not about going back to the March thing. I think for him, it's just about staying within his own elements and head. We did have an interview with him. He talked about just learning the game and the transition of trying to be a D1 player from last year to this year and making the field. Now I really think he's just got to figure out to put that last puzzle piece in and go out there and win the group. Just make the next stage and find a way into the next round and be dangerous. Because, yeah, okay, if he stays 7, if he gets the most points out, he'll play the 2 seed, which would be, or play a 10 seed, which it could be in his own group, depending on how things work out with the points. But at the same time, that's when we do the reshuffle. At the same time, it's going to be about just understanding the element of group stage, no power play, going back to what he was always known and love, and which is just decent ammo control and understand the timing of runs. You understand those 2 things, and Super League play good defense, you're going to make it far. And with the point system, it will be interesting. And I'm interested to see what Nick can do for sure. Now, the next guy, Toaster Guy, is an absolute savage animal. I mean, crikey, he's got Nick, he's got Monkey, he's got Myth, he's got BC. 4 are not making it, but 4 losses, 4 Super League players. Who else does he play? Vapor, that's 5. Acosta, that's 6. Lara, that's 7. That's a lot. That's a lot of extra baggage that he's played or has beaten or lost to. Now, he lost to those 4 people I mentioned, Nick, Monkey, and Myth, and BC. Couple things to note. He avoids Nick. A+, right? You avoid Nick, that's a good thing. Hold on one second. Let me just make sure I got this right. Yeah, he avoids Nick. He will play Monkey at some point, and he will play BC. That's interesting to note in the group stage. Myth obviously on bye. Toaster guy, I think about 2 things. One, I think about his style. He's not a guy to really play 4 command chains, 3 command, go aggressive. He really likes playing singular plays and old school. He's a guy that can play really well with no power play. The fact that there is no defense or offense both ways coming back from him. He's versatile, but the only difference is he's now moved up from wherever the heck he was last year, 11th or 10th, to the man to beat in Group B. And you look at Group B, unlike Group A that has no rematches from anybody, it's going to be all fresh paint, basically. There's a lot of baggage in this group. A lot of rematches. A lot of people are familiar with each other's styles. I think Group A has the favorites, but ironically, Group B is more wide open because we've said it before. It's hard to go 2-0 or 3-0 in a season against 1-1 opponent. And he has to deal with some rematches. Background, Myth, Acosta, who's a different player. You know, and even this, if he gets out of the group, he might have to get another rematch and have a third time with some. Your thoughts on just Toasty? He's definitely a good player for the stage, but will he find a way to kick it back and get the win? We'll see.
Well, here's the thing. You threw in a good thing right there. Talk about doing single plays. And with no power plays, this is almost, and I don't want to throw this guy out there just because I wanted to, but it's a good example of this. Almost like Jesse Turner, who loves no power plays, loves to play just those classic games of Uno where you can make the right sort of moves when it matters the most. And I think if Toaster guy can pull those sorts of moves out, he is going to be a threat in Group B.
I think he will be a threat. We'll see what Brad says. I think the thing with Toast, and he's going to have to realize this, he has to find a little bit more, I think, when we get to the knockout. If he gets there to knockouts, there's no doubt. He's got to find a little bit more in knockout stage. There's no doubt. But right now in this group stage, he has the EXP, man. It's going to be hard to say he doesn't. He's one of the better players with no power play. He understands the points form. I know it's best of 8 this year, and it's a little different than best of 6. But he did play JT very. He played some good players last year. You know, Sanford was in there. He beat Sanford. JT played Lane tough. This is his chance, man. I really think this is his chance to make a deep run. He could knock off Vapor. He knows how to play Vapor. Right? He beat Vapor. If he can get there, watch out. The question is going to be, and I really circled 2 people in his group. The first person I'll circle is the next guy, Acosta. We don't know. And I think BC is going to be the other. I really don't know what he's going to do with those 2 players. I don't know. In a rematch, you know, anything goes. And I always say this, anything goes. And if Toasty can get on top of this and say, you know what, let's drag this game out. Let's take you into a more slow roll style. Watch out. But if he doesn't do that and it gets into more of a shootout, more offense, then I don't know. Then I'm not sure what the plan will be moving forward, especially with some of the rematches where they know his style. So that's going to be the thing with Toast. Can he control his emotions, control what he's got going on the table, and just work his usual toasty crikey? He's a chaotic energy player. There's no doubt. We'll wait for Brad to say something here. But, Ard, your thoughts on that assessment before we get Brad?
I think you got a good point there. And here's the thing: I'm going to say this about Group B. I think Group B is almost like that group of death.
You think
Like
so?
with the amount of rematches that are going to go on, it is going to be a battlefield to determine three spots, really. Because I wouldn't count out the other people in that group.
No, I wouldn't either. Group B has 5 strong players. I can see all of them win. Toshi's being. He's got to be the guy, though. You got to think coming in, the experience, he's got to be the favorite. And we talked about this favorite mantra. If Vapor's the guy to win it all, Toasty's got to be expected to win the group stage. Let's see what fits. Someone just texted me. You're good. Let me have the groups for a second. Groups were decided. It goes 7, 10 was Group A, right, top 2, and then 8, 9 was Group B, and then it was 7, 10, 11. So it'd be 11 would be Group A, and then it was I think it was 7, 10, 11, and then it was 14, 15 was Group A, and then it was 8, 9, 12, 13, 16 was Group B. Let me fact check. I'll be right back. Art, talk to the crowd. Let me fact check that.
Yeah, we got a fact check on it. But yeah, I will say this: it's going to be good to see what Toasty will do, and if he is going to be the favorite here, and luckily he has one of those favorable buys, which could play into his momentum here without being one of those sorts of people that have the weird sort of schedules. It's gonna be interesting to see how far he can take it.
Interesting. We'll see. Well, we don't. Well, the problem is, we kind of informally announced this. We're not gonna do. The format's gonna change. This will probably be the last year of this format. Believe it or not, we're gonna have a different format. The groups will stay, but we just don't know what the new format's gonna be. It's gonna be something new. We're gonna have something completely different. Now I'm not saying, we're gonna change the whole nucleus. No, something will change though. Okay. We'll go there, but we'll see how it goes on that one. Now the next guy, we'll keep it moving here. So we are on a time crunch a little bit with the 10:30 show coming up. Acosta, okay, who's he played? KT, Toasty, Vapor. Okay, he lost to Vapor twice. He lost to KT and Toasty. We know that. But he's the best story of the year. Okay, his wins that made Super League. Brad, that's big. Lara, that's big. Right? The thing I'm thinking with Acosta, if I'm him, you have the best. You have not the best. You have one of the better styles on pace. You're probably the slowest player in the league that made the Super League field, and one of the slower players, more methodical, takes your time, never rushes the game, which is great. I'm just going in there thinking, you know what? I have nothing to lose. I'm the pure underdog story. I'm the best story of the year. Own that story. And if you make it, great. If you don't, what a year. You had 2 wins to start the year, and now you're at 10 career wins. Or I'm sorry, 1 career win. 1. This guy only beat Fitzwater. Think about it. If he doesn't beat Fitzwater last year, he's in D2. Or, let's face it, he's retired. He wouldn't play D2. So, just to think about the magnitude of this story, to go from I'm retiring, basically, if I don't make a run T3, to Super League is unfathomable. Story of the year, honest to God, Art, if he makes it out, one of the most dangerous guys here. If he can make it out of this bloodbath group, I think he could be a favorite. I really do. What do you think about this one, Art?
I gotta look. I gotta say this: Acosta, going from wanting just to retire to now being in a position like this. This is one of these things that people people put in stories. This does not happen in real life, but somehow Acosta has put storybook writing into this, and he is making a season worth of just making incredible moves. And I think right now, if Acosta can get into the knockout stage of Super League, I would say this. He might be one of the toughest people. But only time will tell with him.
Brad, your thoughts on Acosta? You got torched by him, but your thoughts on what he can do? Like I said, I played this guy back in March. You might as well just tear it up. Throw it out the window. Let's face it, he's not the same player from March. Whatever he was eating in March for breakfast and lunch, I want the breakfast he's having now and on lunch. I don't want the breakfast he was having in, March. So I really like where Acosta's at. I think he's going to play on house money. And how many times have we seen guys play on nothing to lose energy and just go out there and make it happen? And he plays such a unique, slow pace, slow your roll style. It's basically what Dart did, but way better. And with this, just go out there and keep doing what you're doing. You can make magic happen. I think that's what we're going to see from Acosta, man. I really do. I really think the magic will be there. Next guy, Brad is up next, back in Group A. Yeah, he had that blip on the radar, lost to Zach, didn't make Super League, but, and already didn't make Super League. BC, Mac, Acosta, okay. They're all not playing group stage or in Group B. His other Super League players, Monkey, or Wonky or Lunky, whatever he likes to say, in Group B. Gold will be the big one. Gold is going to be the big one there, I think, Ard. I think when we get that iteration, I forgot about that one. That's going to be... I don't even... Wait a minute. Gold is in the other group. Yeah, so... Yeah, he's not playing anybody in group stage, that's in his group. He's kind of on a house money mentality in the sense that in this group, he could be overshadowed by somebody like a Nick, right? Because Nick won March, and he might get overlooked. Or somebody like a guy who's polarizing, or Caesar with the experience. But Brad's been here before. Just because he didn't play group stage, I got a lot of faith in this guy. He's the only other legend in the class that made it to Super League, which is crazy to say. I think when you're a legend at the top, Ard, when you're in that Legends class, you automatically got pressure on you. I think Brad gets out of here. I really do. I think Brad's going to get out of here and say, you know what? I'm going to ditch all that white noise, lock in the way I did, study some tape. He'll have an advantage on time zone. He might naturally want to play an 8 o'clock or some type of primetime game. He's used to that from last year. He knows how the scheduling system works of this. It's got to be one of the favorites. I think him or Nick got to be one of the favorites, I would say, to get out of here. What's your thoughts on Brad? Ceiling is definitely good. The only thing I'm worried about for Brad, there's one thing I am worried. He said it before himself. Can he shake off certain styles? Can he shake off when we get to those games where it's not down to card history or reshuffle? Can he shake that off? Because he has played long games all year. Background was a marathon. The Mac game was naturally a marathon. Already was a marathon. Even the game against Acosta, naturally a marathon. Right? He had a great game against Tago. He had a long one against Chapez. A long game against Brock. Monkey even. He's played long endurance game. I'm interested to see when we have a shorter game, does someone try to pull that card on him? That's the only thing I would say he'll work on and he'll adjust to. But your thoughts on Bad Brad?
I think you kind of put it right there, right on the money there. Let's see what he can do here. And really, he is probably going to be one of the top 2 favorites to get out of the group stage in his certain group. It's just, what can he do when he's facing off against people that love to play certain strategies? And that's the fun thing about this. There is a bunch of different strategies that might get used here during the group stage.
Yeah, I'm not sure what to think about Brad too. I don't want to say too much because he's here, but Brad, your thoughts on the expectations? You talked about you'll get no rematches. This is all fresh blood. There's no rematches in this group. It's very, like I said, fresh paint. We're gonna have to learn on the fly here what's gonna be the magic potion or whatever. Anything could happen, man. No, I think it's a fair assessment, Art. It's a fair assessment, and yeah, I'm interested to see. I mean, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Who just left? Someone leave? Oh, damn, boys, you're good. Well, this next guy has been a Cinderella in his own right. Lara Hulo, obviously for Lara, a year that started off pretty rough, lost to Carson, and then it picked up quick. Great run in Auto April, played G, lost, Toasty, Acosta. Also has another Super Leaguer in Monkey, and of course myself. He's played some good Super Leaguers. Really underrated player, a pace player. He loves to play slow and methodical. Like Acosta, but a little quicker when he can. I think for Lara, it's an unknown story yard. I'm not sure what to expect because I almost have to throw him in the category of house money. You're not expected to get out of this group. You're not. You got Nick and, let's call it, Nick and Brad are the top favorites. And you almost have to look at Jay Caesar, even though he's never been in Super League, as an experienced Mafia kind of guy in a sense. So dang methodical. Plays quick. Calculated. Caesar 1-2 punches a lot. Lara's different beast. Hard to know. Hard to read. Don't know what to see in this environment. I think he could be a sleeper, but it's hard to read because how much house money does he want to put in? How much does he want to put up in the front on the table? And that's going to be the key. So that's really all I can say on that one. Hard to read because he's. I've never seen him with no power play. Even when his power plays this year, it's been interesting. He's definitely going to have to find something, I think. But if he does find something to get that extra gear, watch out. That's my best assessment on Lara. I think how much money is he willing to put is going to be the key. What's your thoughts?
I think Lara being one of those sort of people that is unknowing makes Lara really interesting. And I don't think it's a bad thing, though, on Lara's part. Maybe Lara can pull out something out of nowhere and be like, I got something a little bit trickier than what you people did not expect. And that could be the element of surprise to anybody in his group. So, I would say this. We'll see what happens when Lara gets into that first match in group stage. But it's going to be something interesting to watch.
Bad Brad, your thoughts on Lara? I mean, he's been kind of, in a way, it's crazy to think at 5 wins, he was number 9 coming into this thing, entering T5, and he found a way into the field. I think that's something to keep in mind, but you got to always think with Lara Huo, house money. Go out there and just own it, man. You really got to own it. When you're in Super League, you have to own this. And I think he needs to figure out how to balance that. And if Lara can do it, watch out. And if he can find the balance of house money versus going all in and understanding his control style, start writing his name down. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. Brad might be eating dinner. We'll see. This next person, polarizing in itself. We all remember this one. Varigold coming back from Super League after 2023's moment we don't talk about. What a weird resume, man. Had the Final Four and the finale runs, but Bo and Tago are in the Super League, and then lost to Brad Vaporgon. The only Super League player I mean, he beat BC, he beat Caesar, he beat Matt, but this is probably the only Super League player that's been just straight hit or miss. There's not one avenue where I can say, it's just, it's crazy. You see Bo and Tago, and then you see wins against and Matt. It's crazy. I don't know what to think. He's too volatile to really make a read. All I'm going to say is he is a favorite, though, and here's why. He knows this format. We talked about Yepez and Gold, if they ever made Super League. I like where he's at, because think about this. Monkey, we have no idea. Okay, wild card. Background, wild card. Acosta, house money. Toasty, okay, he might be a group favorite. But remember, out of all 5 of these people, Gold has the biggest brand of these 5. It's a brand player. I got to think this is someone that is hungry after 2 years ago, losing the way he did against Yepez of all people in that weird finale. He wants revenge. I think Gold's going to be absolutely on another level. What do you think, Art? I think he could be someone to watch. What do you think?
He could be, but here's the thing. Throughout the regular season, he was batting up more ground balls than getting on base, really. And that's the problem I got to worry about here with Gold. Ever since making it to that weird finale 2 years ago in Super League, Gold has been one of those people that has been so quiet until we got into T3 this year. And then had those 2 good tournaments. I'm kind of nervous on what Gold is going to do, even though Gold is going to be back in a usual territory. So, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, Gold's back in the element of, I made Super League. I'm looking forward to tearing it up in the old GS, but similar to G, he peaks and valleys, right? Nowhere last year, made a finale of Super League 23. Now back in Super League. Peaks and valleys, man. I don't know. And you look at the roster art, it's a lot of masters, a lot of novices. It's just, it's been the story. It's been, and I'm going to read this off right now. You look at what we got. We'll talk about this a little later. The entry list is just unique because there's a lot of masters and a lot of novices. We know this. The legends class got depleted. There's not many legends. Rookies, we know there's only 2 of them, right? And the vets has 3. I am going to say this, though. If Gold can be anywhere close, I'll say if Gold can make the group stage, watch out. Or I say the knockout stage, watch out. Because that's when Gold can cook. Because we know Gold in a pressure situation likes to play defense. And we talk about how defense wins championships in Super League. It does. Gold's got good defense. Watch out. That's all I'm saying. Something could pop up and really make it an interesting fight. Now we go to the most unpredictable player here, Monkey Boy. What a year it's been. Lost to Logan, but he did have G, Brad Lara, and then he has Toasty, Caesar, and Nick. A lot of Super League players, a lot of unknowns with this guy. I think for Monkey, there's 2 players I'm going to talk about. He's one of the 2 at the back end. It's about mentality with him. Of whatever happened with that strike post T3 on Bye Island, he hasn't been the same player, man. Okay, there's no doubt. He has not been the same player since that incident with Short and him dipping on the commentary. But at a certain point, man, you got to put that past you. You know, if you're a Monkey, put it past you, man. You have nothing to lose here. You're not expected to go out there and win Super League. You're not expected to even get past this group stage to a lot of people's eyes. I think it's just about building reputation. Build reputation and go from there. His play style is unique. It's all over. He had great defense against Caesar. But the thing here, Art, is Well, yes, he's going to have a really good chance to get a revenge game against Toast. Right, we all know that Monkey Toasty battle will come at some point. He's so unpredictable in a sense. On one day he can be on it, the other day he may be off. I think he's just got to find a balance. Is that the fair assessment, Monkey? He's such an unpredictable player. What do you think?
Yeah, you're right. He's unpredictable. But here's the thing also. He has been criticized. He has been looked at so differently since that strike. And he has been mocked at by so many people. The only way I think Monkey can do something is by making the haters shut up. And the way Monkey can do that is by going in the group stage, clear mind, and getting the job done.
Yeah, that's the best thing to do is just go out there and advance, man. I think Monkey's going to benefit off the top three. I think a lot of people are. A lot of people don't realize 2 extra games and the fact that it's top 3 advance is different than when we had it at the start, top 2 event. When it's top 3, there's a little more room for error. Top 2, you can't take it awfully. You got to win out there, go out there and crush it. Now, he'll get a benefit of that, but as Brad always says with it, it's wonky or lonky, man. Is he going to show up and be a W today, or is he going to take the L? I don't know. He's such a unique player. And there's another player I'm going to talk about a little bit later. But I think the mentality is going to be key for Monkey. For our buddy Caesar, it's pretty simple. Monkey, Gold, Vapor, Mac, background character, all the players he played in Super League. He's been around the block. Okay, I know he got destroyed by Vapor and Monkey at the beginnings of the year and towards the end. But this is a guy that knows what he's doing, man. You know, he knows what he's doing. He's been around here, the old chip on the old block. I can't see a world where Jay Caesar isn't going to change his style and just still keep that Caesar 1-2 punch, but I could be wrong. He's got good mentality. I know he's in a tough group. But look at this, Art. He's going to have no rematches, right? He doesn't have Nick. He don't got Brad. He don't got Gon. No Lara. I really think for Caesar, it's 2 things. Keep doing what you've been doing with the 1-2 punch. And whatever you do in quad 3 and 4, find something different for Q1 and 2 players. Because on paper, he can take care of business against any one of these people, for sure. But you have to think, with the experience over Lara and Gon, he's got to be that number 3 guy. But you know what? I have the more experience than these guys. He's got to insert basically mind games and dominance off the table to get him rallied up on the table. I have a sneaky suspicion he could do something. However, it's Jay. I know he's going to 1-2 punch to death, and he's always going to find ways. He plays the old school game, and it works sometimes. And that's what it can do in group stage with no power play. What's your ceiling on him? Because we never see him in this position, but he has so many starts and a lot of knowledge of the game.
And he's seen so much footage about this sort of stuff that it makes sense. But here's the thing, Caesar, it's difficult to really say much on him because, yes, going with the classic styles might work for this environment. But will it help in the long run a group stage? That's the difficult part. If Caesar's got something special in the tank, he's got to bring it out now.
And what will he have special in the tank? That's going to be the key for Jay. We know he plays very methodical in OG, but he knows how to ammo control. Let's not forget, this guy made his first Final Four against Arya, taking care of Arya. Right? He lost the, but he finally made a Final Four. Yeah, he missed out on the medal, but it's been a while. You know, it's been a while since we've seen a guy like this make it, where it's just straight OG. I don't know. I think he can adapt. I still have high confidence in Caesar. The question's going to be, can he block out the white noise and play some mind games with the mentality? We know he's got that mentality killer, right? He knows how to kill people on a good day. And we saw it against Monkey. He got too defensive. He was too offensive. He didn't play defensive enough. And sometimes when you get too offensive and try to rally up your opponent, you play down your opponent. He's got to not play down to anybody. It's a tough group, but at the same time, it's a group he can get out of. Because there's no paint. Like I said, Cedar struggles in rematches. Arya, we've seen it before. He struggles in rematches. There's no rematches here. This is a fresh, clean board. That's where he cooks. That's for anybody. When it's new paint, anything can happen. That's what Group A is. Just too much new paint. We'll see. And last of the new paint is going to be gone. Okay, he played G. He played Andy. He's played mid twice with myself and goal. But I don't know what the Gone is. I think this is the second guy. There's two Gons, right? What we saw early in the season, fantastic Gon, right? Against G, sure he lost the finale, but that T2 Gon, fantastic. T1 Gon, not so good. T5 Gon, pretty good. He's hit or miss, right? And he's got to find a balance too, similar to Monkey, just to find a little bit more of a cleaner look on the table. Now, schedule will matter, but if he can find a cleaner look with good scheduling and find a little bit more of a block out the white noise in the background, should he be here or not with the tournaments and everything, he could make some. He could make us see Crow. It's going to be a wait and see, but I think it's put up or shut up. If he can get there and get out of the top three, you don't got to win the group. Just get to that third position, which we think could be wide open if Brad and Nick are perennial favorites with Jay. Kind of a shaky three. Gon the rookie could do something. What's your thoughts on Gon? Because he's definitely polarizing, to say the least.
Look, I don't want to sound like a jerk when I say this, but he's probably one of the most polarizing figures in this season's Super League. Again, I don't want to sound like a jerk, but that is my opinion because of certain things. Look, he did good in two of those tournaments, making it to the later rounds. The only big flaw was T1. If he can pull out T2 and 5, all right, this might be the run Gon needs. And if he can, and here's the thing, you said it on the notes a second ago. If he can get to the top 3, that's all he needs to do. That's all he needs to do to get into the knockout stage. And that's just the main key factor there. So, it's going to be interesting.
Put up or shut up, man. It's either he makes a lot of people eat crow, or a lot of people are going to say, we told you so. That's what it's going to be for Gon. That's house money. If he wants to take it for the taking, he can go to the bank and make a deposit, or he's going to have to take a lot of withdrawals out if he doesn't perform. That's the thing when you're polarizing like that. Put up or shove. That can be a new level that not many people would have seen. So it's interesting, Art. He's definitely one of the most polarizing guys here. And the last player, as we go to Group B here, back to background. Caesar, Mac, Gold, Toasty, Nick, Brad. Those are all the players that have played Super League on his resume. I'm not sure. To me, this reminds me a lot of Gon, in a way. A rookie, too. The last two players made it are rookies. But a lot of unknowns background, man. A lot of unknowns. Personally, in my heart, I really think if you look at this group, he's going to get a lot. He's going to get a lot of rematches, right? We all know it. Toasty is going to be a rematch. In a weird way, I'm going to say it's crazy, Art. It's going to sound weird, Goal as well. the fact of the matter is, for background, I'm almost curious. We'll talk more about this tomorrow. I'm almost more curious to see what he does on new paint or dry paint instead of wet paint, because wet paint's more of a rematch. Dry paint is fresh, right? It's dry, it's polished. I'm more interested to see what he does against Acosta and Monkey, because against Toasty, background and Toasty play similar, and even background and Gold play similar. Now, sure, he lost the Gold and he beat Toasty. But for background, Acosta plays very slow. And Monkey, wild cardish. I'm not sure what the ceiling is going to be again. I'm confident in what he can do against Toasty, for sure, ironically, and Gold. But the other two opponents are interesting. And I think it can be said a lot for this group because there's a lot of dry and wet paint. There's a lot of rematches and then it's just fresh meat, right? I'm not sure what the ceiling is for background because of the fact is I don't know what he's and I can say the same thing for Monkey. What does Monkey know that BC don't know? What does BC know that Monkey don't know? That's what makes this one fascinating. Is Group B is a lot more wet and dry paint. Your thoughts on that? Because there's a lot of rematches we're going to see. And it depends on when these guys pick a bye. Background and Gunn have no guy. No, they have no bye pick. They're living on a prayer. Thoughts on that?
That's the typical thing with being the last person that had your pick selected. Basically, last choice, you are basically hanging on a wire on what happens. And that's going to be the difficult part. But on the whole ceiling thing for background, who knows? Maybe with background in, he's finally going to get maybe that little extra spark in his system that's going to make him pull out some moves. And who knows? Maybe, and I'm just saying this as a possibility, he could make some sort of crazy, unknowing circumstance in Group B.
Well, there you have it, folks. That's going to be it for Group A and B. You know, there's a lot to be said about this group. I mean, I'm going to pull up for you guys to look at the Group A and B setting. Hold on one second. Let me just pull it up. Now we are gonna make Week 1 opening predictions tomorrow. We're only gonna go week by week though. Art and I are gonna make predictions on who we think are gonna advance tonight. I'll go to Art. I'm gonna read off the names. Art, give me 3 out of 5 right here. Of Group A, who do you think advances? Nick, Brad, Larry, Caesar gone. Who do you got making it out? Top 3.
Top 2, I'm already gonna say is Nick and Brad.
Okay.
The third one's the difficult part because of who can pull it out between those last 3. And even if I say this guy's polarizing, I think he's going to start shutting people up. Give me Gone for that final spot.
I got Nick, Brad, Caesar. I'm going with the OGs. I really think Nick is going to be motivated for March and getting snubbed. I think Brad is a guy who just has too much EXP. And EXP points is always something you need in Super League. I'm going Jay only because I think with his 1-2 punch style and the fact of the matter is he's learned from the mistakes of the defense earlier in the year, you can't count this guy. I'm going to go novice, legend, and a master. And you're going with rookie, legend, and novice. Now, what about Group B? Or who do you got? It's a little tougher, I think.
Well, I'll start off by picking Acosta.
Okay.
That's my first one.
You going Acosta for the win? You're going Acosta for the group win?
I say Acosta with how his strategy plays. I'm picking him for the win.
Whoa. Well, heater. Okay.
Second off, I think Monkey will prove people wrong.
Whoa. Are going aggressive. Okay.
And third off, I said it's going to be a close one, but barely making it in will be Toasty.
That is very interesting, man, because I got 2 out of 3 are right. I do like the Toasty pick. I think Toasty with the experience is going to win the group. I actually have Acosta going second. I think Acosta, he has a unique style. It's very intriguing. And I like the fact that you can never rule out a guy that plays such methodical. But I think my upset special is going to be Gold. And here's why. I think Gold is going to go in there and thinking, you know what? And it's not really an upset, but he's not going to win. But I think Gold is going to have something to prove as well. I thought about putting Monkey in. I really did. But Monkey, the problem I have with him, we don't know what Monkey going to show up. And for background, I'm just worried about the Acosta Monkey game itself. I think background Monkey could tie, and background could just lose to Acosta because it's so unique. So I'm gonna go Toasty Acosta. I'll write these down, write them down. We'll see who's right. Obviously, we may not get the order right, obviously, in terms of who makes it in 1 through 3. But if we get the people right, that's all that matters. It's gonna be a fun one, man. Let me know your predictions below. Who do you think's gonna advance in the chat? We'll talk more about Week 1 predictions tomorrow. We do know I do have some breaking news. The only breaking news I have is Toaster got picked Week 5 bye. So that's always good. So we'll see who picks Week 1. We don't have that solidified yet. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. It's Super League. Cody Smart's here. He's going to probably make some predictions. Who do you think's going to advance and whatnot out of the groups, and we'll start getting media content flowing. Or any final words before we get to tomorrow's schedule? Go ahead, buddy.
Well, I'm going to say this. It's going to be fun watching how this field of 16 players make it through this whole thing, because I'm ready to watch this. This is going to be a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. Remember, tomorrow, doubleheader, Wednesday, September 10th. Cannot wait. We started off with the 2 o'clock. Well, we'll probably still keep it 2. We'll break down the guys that missed out. Always tough, but a lot of great memories this year. Some fun memories of 2025. And then we're going to make opening. That'll be a shorter show. Just straight Week 1 predictions. And we're going to talk about what players picked on the bye, where they picked. And then we'll talk about the bye guys. What are the possible scenarios for those guys, who they could play, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But we'll see who everyone picked. All we know is Nick and Brad have picked Week 3 and 4. Toasty's going with the, oh my God, Week 5, roll of the dice. What will Acosta pick? What will Varigold pick? What will Monkey pick? In terms of obviously background guy, don't have a choice. So we're just waiting on Lara there and Caesar for Group A. But it'll be an interesting case study, and I'm looking forward to it. For all of us at MRUNA, check us out tomorrow, and then we'll be ready to go. On September 12th, Friday, we'll begin Super Live. So we're honoring the victims of 9/11. We wish everyone the best on that day. Remember, never forget. And can't wait to get going. Our 12th and 13th, 2-day weekend. Let's get it going, man. It's Super League. It's the best time of the year. I know last year you had the toga going with the Athens. I'm sure we'll have something fun planned for the profile picture changes, as we always do for Super League. Check out everything. Shout out to Eli for making the cards. Can't wait to see those revealed. And let's get it on. Super League 25 is a go. We ouchie. We'll see you tomorrow, too.